Namaste all. I welcome you all to this 46th session of Gurubodha. We have with us Dr. M.B. Guraja sir. On behalf of all of us, I cordially welcome Dr. M.B. Guraja sir to this session. Namaste sir.
Namaste.
I dedicate this and all of my works at the holy feet of Dr. A. Chandrasekhar Udupa. Dr. M.B. Guraja sir is a practitioner and also an Ayurveda professor. He practices at Dhavala Pentacare Ayurveda Treatment Center in Shimoga. For consulting or to get guidance on cases, please visit easyayurveda.com/Guru Raja. So this class is made live for Easy Ayurveda weekly class subscribers. To sign up, go to easyayurveda.com/video-classes. First point of the day is insect bite versus food allergy rashes. So how to differentiate? And then in the treatment, does it affect whether the insect bite or food allergy rashes? If the cause of the allergy is different, does the medicine choices and treatment choices also change? The question I was asked by one of the participants, for a person with sensitive skin in general, how can we distinguish between a skin reaction due to agantuja causes? Agantuja means external causes such as insect bite, mold, environmental factors, etc., versus the internal causes related to diet, lifestyle, food allergy. So what are the clues to help differentiate? So I just collected a few insect bite skin rashes and also a few of the food allergy skin rashes. So these are the insect bite rashes. And these are some allergic hives which are not due to insect bites. Guru, can you please take us through the points here?
See, very clearly, first of all, the question is aimed at a person with a sensitive skin. So when a person is sensitive skin, then we need to go for his history regarding any time in the life earlier to this phase, whether he had any such sort of any allergies or any skin bite, or whether his skin is very sensitive to any simple bite or maybe mosquito bite or something like that. That we need to get it information from the history. Second thing is very clearly if it is any sting bite or it may be any other important bites are there where a possibility of a remnant of the sting may be present in the wound site and it will be localized to one place. If it is a food allergy, it will be completely all over the body at various places, including the face or abdomen, thighs, and everywhere it can be observed. So it entirely different we can make out. But thing is that even if it is a food allergy or it is any allergy other than that due to any of the insects bite or something like that, only if it is a very poisonous insects, if it is bitten, then we need to be very emergent action should be taken. Otherwise, the protocol of approach would be once again same one which is aimed at reducing the allergic pattern of it or reducing the immediate action which may be due to kapha, pitta and vata. In a tridoshaja pattern we can get it, but in a predominancy of if it is a food related, usually it will be either pitta and kapha in combination will give rise to allergic manifestations. So that's why we will come across with a lot of Shita Pitta cases, arterial rashes, which is usually food related. Otherwise, insect bite is very clearly here and there. There are one or two bites will be there very prominently. That bite area will be reddish in color and typical features will be there from differentiating from the allergic hives. Allergic hive doesn't have a central part or a pit or something like that. So which can be easily make out in case of an insect bite. But in case of a mosquito bite also resulting in a skin allergic manifestation sensitivity, then we don't find such type of bite mark which may be triggering the things, but that can be taken only from the information of the patient while taking the history. So while taking the history, that needs to be understood.
Treatment wise, how it would differentiate between when insect is bitten or versus when allergic hives are there?
Basically, if it is a serious nature of allergic reaction is taking place and the history is giving the information that there was a bite, then it is better to not to take venture into the way of giving Ayurvedic medicine or whatever it is. better you just, because maintaining the vitals of a person, and if a life is threatened, then we need to give a specific antidotes in the form of rapidly acting injections or something like that. So that type of cases we need not to take it. Only other type of things where there is a sensitivity, and once there is an insect bite or something like that, it goes on scratching the things, or it may be a child or it may be an elder. So this type of allergic manifestations are there, then definitely we have to go for the treatment on the lines of Kota, Udarda, Shita Pitta, that type of treatments we need to do.
Medicines like Haridra Kanda and Gandhika Rasayana, those would be useful. So what are the medicines that you suddenly start thinking when an allergic hive manifestation is there? So.
Definitely, when there is an allergic hive manifestation, the drug of choice would be Brihadaritra Kanda. Along with that, Mahamanjishtadi Kashaya, and even Gandhaka Rasayana, and more so Khadirarishta. Along with that, if I feel it is from the abdomen, from the internal, maybe because of the food, then I'll go even for the Vidangarishta many a times, if that allergic manifestations are there. The combination of Vidangarishta, Kadirarishta, and Gandhaka Rasayana, Mahamanjishta Kashaya, of course, Brihadaritra Kanda is the first drug in the treatment line. So these things will definitely give you quite good convincing results.
But even for the insect bite also, there are some medicines that are usually indicated. Like we have Sanjeevani Vati and Vilvadi Gulika, Lodra Sevyadi Kashaya, Chopachinyadi Churna, etc. If it looks very safe, or how to differentiate between an emergency condition or related to insect bite that patient may go into a shock, and are there cases in which we can dare to treat?
See, we can definitely go for a treatment only if there is no angioedema and severity of the swelling in the body, and such type of things are not, and widespread rashes if it is not there. Then and history of the patient, these things are developed within a short span of 1 hour or 2 hours, then it is emergency. We need to be very cautious in handling these cases. Or it may be due to these conditions have started slowly evolving over a period of 1 day or 2 days. Then no, don't worry, we can manage them, because it's a slowly progressive thing. And in that conditions, definitely we can handle with the drugs available at our resource.
Especially if there is like Lyme disease and all, things can become very very serious very fast.
Because the first question itself is the person is having a sensitive skin. So we don't know what sort of sensitivity, whether it is a drug-related allergy or whether it is due to hereditary factor or is the born characters. All these things need to be understood, and whether the person is having such type of allergies in the earlier also, and how it was remitted, how it was reduced. So all these things need to be understood. Otherwise, simply every cases comes and I'll take all the cases and I'll try to treat it, then there may be trouble. So we need to be very cautious while taking these type of allergic things. The person having a chronic allergy, even manifestation is also taking very slowly. In that, definitely we can use our drugs, which gives result in 24 hours to 48 hours. So such type of things management can be done.
Yes, sir. Patient being sensitive or having previous history of the allergic hives getting into out of control and getting hospitalization. So those cases we should be very. There's a question from the student here, like Rasamanikya, Malla Sindura, can those be an option in case of allergies, sir?
Definitely, but I don't recommend in any patient with such sensitivity is there. So when there is a sensitivity, we need to be using as far as possible certain drugs which cannot cause any untoward incident, and they themselves are very strong and potent. These Malla Sindura and these things are very, very strong. I suggest that Malla Sindura, Rasamanikya, such type of things only where there is respiratory issues are there in a patient with allergic manifestations, like breathing difficulty for a shortness of breath, maybe because of since last 1 hour or 2 hours, something like that. Then to bring out, giving a very standard and very important information, we can use this particular drug, which will give you very good result also. So in that condition, Malla Sindura and this can be used, but of course that should be given from a reputed company with very clearly one who has passed through the all the standards, protocol while manufacturing of those drugs. Such drugs only can be utilized in treatment, and definitely it will give you result.
And there are like 2 points there. One is that unless we have a facility in our clinical setup to manage if the patient goes south, because in case of allergic disorders, especially insect bites, sometimes neurological symptoms such as facial palsy or different types of neuropathies can develop. Patient can suddenly go into shock. Heart rhythm irregularities can be a symptom, and then in some cases patient will have like a cognitive defects, impaired memory, lack of orientation, etc. Sometimes it so happens that patient when comes and takes the treatment he will be normal, but when he goes back he can develop these symptoms, and suddenly people may think that because of our medicines the patient is having that. So we should be very careful. First of all, we should be having thorough knowledge of any disease that we are treating, and second point is we should be careful about consequences, and only if we are thoroughly equipped with all the emergency management facilities, only then we should venture. We should be careful, sir.
See, definitely. See, even I will say another one thing. See, whenever a patient comes of this nature, if you have a setup of IPD, then only you handle those cases and admit a patient for a short duration. After considering all the history and details what they are given, what may be the possible insect which might have been bitten, and everything. Once all these information you have collected, then I'll make a patient to get admitted, then give a medicine or a second dose, or then only patient is stable, then you can send the patient home. So you should be very cautious nowadays because stringent laws are there. So in order to protect yourself from all these law-related issues, it is better to handle these two cases in an in-house facility. If it is there, then only you can handle this. Otherwise, if you feel it is emerging in a very fast manner, this manifestation, then better avoid treatment and send the patient to a higher center where those facilities are available which can handle the things with chemical medicines and use specific antidotes or broad spectrum antidotes which can be.
And another question related to that, for example, Malla Sindura is there, or Rasamanikya, or any such Rasoushadis. I have started the practice, like I'm a new Ayurveda doctor, and I have read about all these things, but I have not started using it. So before we start using it, like how to start using a new medicine, especially as serious as Malla Sindura. So first, obviously, is the knowledge of the medicine thoroughly and side effects, etc. So,
see, first of all, we need to understand what is Malla Sindura, how it is prepared, how a genuine medicine of Malla Sindura will be there. All these things we should learn in our college activities of learning. And in the same manner, in the internship or in that time, we need to observe how our teachers or gurus, they are using this Malla Sindura, these drugs in front of us to that patients, then how it is going to respond and what precautions they are taking. These practical first-hand information should be there to even a young doctor. Once he observed these things in front of his eyes, that how the medicines are working and how the medicines are given, definitely when he practices in a private practice independently, definitely he can handle with those type of things. But when you are not at all seen how your teachers or your gurus are using these things and suddenly you want to use it, just have all these setups and understanding, then thorough knowledge of this and which company should be selected, how it should be, how it looks, and what is the dose, what is the anupana, all this to be taken in care, then accordingly you can use it.
Yeah, and also probably you should consult those who are already using it and take note of the dose and the method of usage also, sir.
See, what is the method of using and what is the dosage and everything, it is written in the books. Theory part of it is very clearly, it is there, you can read and understand. But thing is, in front of you, if a teacher is using in a way, in a condition where exactly what are the lakshanas he has observed, what is the presenting complaints in a patient, then accordingly in those conditions, how our acharyas or gurus have used these particular Malla Sindura or Rasamanikya in what doses, in what anupana, and how the result was. So when such practical knowledge in front of your eyes, if it is there, then that will be more supporting and more convincing and gives more confidence to use those drugs in our practice in future.
And regarding the oil application for allergic skin manifestations, this let's consider it as non-insect bite, food allergies, etc. So when there is like severe itching, something like Marichadi Taila or Nalpamarade oil or Somaraji Taila could be useful, sir.
Definitely, such oils can be useful, but may not be give you full result until unless you give some medicines for the Shita Pitta or allergic manifestations, which goes internally. Such internal medication is a must, and then only we can support it with the external applications. These external application of oil and all those things, which only is temporarily give a soothing effect. So that's the reason we can use it. And of course, not every patient will respond to Mahamaricha Tela or Nalpamara Tela. So that is the individual things are there. You need to be very cautious while using Mahamaricha Tela and where there is already itching and the patient is scratched and skin is surface is open. And if you apply Mahamaricha, definitely a patient will have burning sensation. So we need to be very careful in using those things.
In any case of allergy, do you have like a diet list which you hand over the patient and tell them to exactly avoid them?
Very specifically, all those deep oil fried material, those which contains dadi in it, and all non-veg items, non-veg source of protein, and these are things. And any specific he has observed, like some people may be having an allergy towards moringa, and some may having allergy towards groundnuts, some may have allergy towards spinach or something like that, or spicy materials. So we'll get information in the history also. Certain times patient will tell very clearly, I have eaten bhaji or something like that, or pakoda, something like that. After that, I started getting this itching sensation, and these hives are started. So very clearly gives an idea of what should be avoided.
Is there any Taila which can be used for daily Abhyanga for a person who does not have any rash but has sensitive skin?
Definitely, you can use Mahamarichadi Tela in a mild dose, or you can use even Nalpramari Tela. No issues with that.
Alpamaradi Taila, if you like search in different ways, some Ayurveda doctor, some Ayurveda promoter had. So it is considered as one of the baby massage oils. Just a interesting observation there. Like Nalpamaradi oil, if you search, it will give like Nalpamari oil for baby massage, etc. Moving on to the next topic.
It is a chronic nature of itching or something allergic manifestation is there. Even simple coconut oil will also do good for the South Indians, and even North Indians. It is mustard oil is also simple plain mustard oil also good for application of Abhyanga on a daily basis, which will improve their skin texture, skin tone, and skin sensitivity also will be reduced. This can be used, in a regular manner.
And there is a question regarding drumstick. Can drumstick cause allergy? Its fruit or its leaf? Leaf powder is available as a supplement. So.
See, anything on this earth, including the sun and earth, everything can cause allergy. But it depends on individual sensitivity. Not everybody will have allergy to everything. So whichever, for example, certain people, once they eat chicken, they will get allergy. Once they eat fish, they'll get allergic manifestation. If they eat moringa, drumsticks, then they'll get allergic manifestation. If they eat brinjal, then they'll get allergic manifestation. Some they go for a groundnut, then they'll get allergic manifestation. And sometimes even for the godambi, that cashew nuts also can cause allergic manifestation. Sometimes for people, they use pickles, various pickles, that also can cause allergies. Like this, there are plenty of issues are there. We need to address. While taking history, you will get a lot of information about this allergic sensitivity and other things. You can phrase a question in such a manner that that patient will give you many other clues what it may be causing the things.
Yeah. There was a funny incident in Twitter. A traveler was traveling in the flight, and somebody was eating like a groundnut or peanut. Sorry, I forgotten. And there was a person who in the same flight who was like severely allergic to this groundnut. So the flight attendant came and asked him to not to eat it and completely close it, and they seized it and took out the groundnut away from him. So he came to the Twitter, and he made a big thing out of it. Then some skin specialists there in the Twitter, etc., they started counseling and saying that some people are even allergic to groundnut powder in the air also. It can also cause allergy. So like you rightly said, anything and everything can cause allergies.
And definitely, anything can cause allergy. People are there with very sensitivity. Even people have allergy to milk. If they drink some milk proteins or even paneer or something like that, then also they can get
allergy. Allergy to sesame seed or anything can be fatal to some people. And like you said, sun also can cause allergy. So that is related to our next question. Is there any Ayurvedic possibility for treating keratosis? Keratosis is like rough, scaly patch on the skin that arises due to long sun exposure. So sun causing a disease here. So this is one case of actinic keratosis. Can please guide through few possible treatment ways, sir?
See, actinic keratosis is basically because of the long exposure to these skin surfaces to the sun rays, where ultraviolet radiation is more. So, and usually those who have a tendency to have a sun bath on the beaches will have, are those who work in the sun for a long duration, they'll have this. And especially this actinic keratosis is very common in those who are brownish tinged or white people. So these people will have this exposure and they get these things. And particularly this actinic keratosis happens most probably in the later part of the life, that is after 50 years. But those who have a tendency to get exposed to sun for a long duration in earlier ages, maybe to get the skin tanning, so they may also get this in future, and that may sometimes actinic keratosis may turn out to be into a melanoma, later convert into or even squamous cell carcinoma, something like that. So there are many such issues are there.
One of the typical things that about it is that sometimes it starts looking like something like wart, an extra layer of skin over the normal skin. Sir. And what are the medicines that we can think about, sir?
A very less number of medicine in the scope for that, because it's small and tiny patchy areas to comparatively bigger than irregular borders with discolorations, and comparatively usually hyper colored or chromed material will be there in that, and it won't cause any allergic manifestation or itching sensation or something like that. Only few people will develop from that, convert into melanoma or something like that. So in that, it is better to avoiding the sun exposure is the one criteria. And the second thing is, what we can do is at our disposal, those things which can reduce ultraviolet radiation, like using Kumari based creams or some protective mechanisms, or applying a coat of cream or something like that, which prevents the skin to get exposed to sun, something like that, we can manage it. But still, this is happening only in those areas which are having more ultraviolet radiation in the sun rays.
And for those who had a previous history of like actinic keratosis, or even for that matter, the previous case like allergic hives, probably seasonal virechana should be given to them so that the pitta dosha and the overall skin health is maintained properly, sir.
See, regularly going for a detoxification may be helpful, but we cannot justify or we cannot very clearly and convincingly say that if you go on regularly doing this type of virechana and these things, definitely will not land up in actinic keratosis. This cannot be justifiable, because such studies that we need to be done, then only we can confidently we can say that. Right now, there is no such studies which can contribute any information saying that this is very good one.
And regarding Ayurvedic equivalent for sunscreen with aloe vera, etc., do you have any recommendations, sir? Maybe
we have one sun protection cream from Lala's available in the market, and then we have some Eve Fresh and Even Shade. There is one thing. So these things can be used after the post exposure to avoid or reduce the skin. And only thing is sun protection, which gives, of course, it is not purely Ayurveda. It also has some other ingredients which are very common in those containing ultraviolet radiation, reducing ointments, such type of things, SF15 or 45, something like that, and that is there.
So there's a question here that once I heard from an Ayurveda practitioner that cashew nuts can increase Kleda in the body. Probably he is referring to allergic reaction to cashew nut only. So cashew nut increases Kleda in the body. Kindly share your views on this, sir.
See, it increases Kleda, something like that. It's not only Kleda. Cashew nut is Pitta Karaka. If you eat lot of cashew, it increases the Pitta. And in Pitta, it also has Dravatva as one of the quality of Pitta. So Dravatva of the Pitta is also increased and Ushna Guna is also increased. Because of these two combinations, we'll have itching sensation. I cannot say it increases the Kleda. It increases the Dravatva of Pitta.
Usually the early morning sun exposure or evening sun exposure when the sun intensity is less, that will not cause any type of actinic keratosis. Only the afternoon hot sun causes it, sir.
It's very difficult to say that because we have a lot of patients with age-related spots, we call it the age spots, which also look like actinic keratosis. But it is very common. Even those who are not gone into the sun also sometimes develop it at the age when they are crossing 60 or 70s. You might have seen in people, those who are very old, in their skin, even on a hand or face or even chest, exposed area, V area of the chest, you will come across this type of actinic keratotic spots will be there. And that's why it's one of the important cause is that it is due to sun exposure. But the sun exposure is not only the cause. There are maybe plenty of other causes also. Maybe genetically he is predisposed to have these conditions. So many other things are there because maybe his skin is white. That's also one of the reasons. So many issues are there.
Thank you there, sir. And moving on to the next topic is a question on nose block. Recently, I have a condition where my right nose blocks while sleeping, and doctor said it is nasal mucus inflammation. And since a month, I'm using spray Rhinomaxil francomycin, of which I have not much knowledge. He said it could be due to allergy. So nasal mucosal inflammation, possibly due to allergy. What are the things to consider and how to approach the treatment, please, sir?
See, definitely allergic manifestation will lead to, see, even in the night time, the air also contains more moisture or something like that, or during a particular season in a year, we'll have these type of things, maybe in the winter season and even the rainy season when the moisture is more in the atmosphere, then the breathing air contains more moisture or humidity. That will lead to stimulate the mucus cells, layer in the inside the nose, and may start secreting more and more mucus. So in this also, just like that, Vyoshativati or Dashamula Katukatraya, these type of drugs and even Bruhataridra Kanda will definitely give you sufficient result, and even including Trifala Gugudu to some extent gives the results.
If you are talking about individual ingredients, then spices like Trikatu along with turmeric and along with mucus reducing medicines like Vasa and Dashmula, so that's where we are heading towards, right, sir?
Definitely, such type of medicines will definitely help to reduce the condition.
So could you please explain how humidity stimulates the mucosal secretion? Humidity is the moisture in the air. So it stimulates kapha dosha, and mucus secretion is again kapha dosha related. Sir?
Definitely, because there is a coldness. That cold also triggers the coldness inside the body and increases the secretions of mucus. And many times, particularly this is not happening with everybody. Those who have sensitive skins, the sensitivity for cold and allergic manifestations are very common in them. And those patients will have, even in the same family, we have 6 or 7 members. Only 1 or 2 will having suffering from these things. Other people are not suffering, even though their food is same, their living area is same, the air what they are breathing almost same, but still 2 may be suffering and other may not be suffering from these type of things. So it's very particularly the individual sensitivity in that body, pre-existing condition inside will support that, and the moisture present in the air can also become a stimulating factor.
Moving on to the next topic, which is again related to the previous one. Okay, Namaste sir. Can you please guide on treatment protocol for ear clogging post sinus infection recovery? Present symptoms are unilateral ear blockage with reduced audibility and popping sounds on swallowing and pain on pressure on the ear area. Sinusitis symptoms like nasal blockage, headache, sinus pain, etc. are resolved. So there's a thing called a patient tube which is there in the middle ear, which opens up into the nasopharynx area like that you can see here. So though sometimes the mucus and sinusitis and the local infection is clear, so this eustachian tube can be blocked, which can give the ear blockade symptoms, sir.
See, definitely we need to understand inside the ear, maybe the external auditory meatus and this entire area is lined with such a cells which can produce a sebum type of material which are secreted to maintain the health of those canal. And many a times we come across that people while taking bath, water enters the ear, and sometimes even that it is not removed properly. And this will mix with the sebum and inside that secretions, and that will totally become good Karanabhuta in what in Ayurveda we use the term. And in that condition, that needs to be taken out. And if it is very solid, then also it causes pain. Or when it becomes infected, when it is contacted with the water, then there will be chance of sinusitis, something like that, or even if to otitis media, something like that. So in these conditions, definitely there will be different types of sounds while swallowing and pain in the ear and around the places. Is very common, and even audibility is also reduced. So many issues will be there. For this also, once again, the best one is applying an oil, particularly to the ear. It is Abhyanga Ksharataila. This is a very good one for this condition. Then we have Gulu, very clearly useful for these conditions. Dashamula Katakatraya Kashayam, that's also one of the important thing. And these type of medicines, definitely even Septilin tablet and even Haridra Kanda, will definitely will help. But very important one is Abhyanga Ksharataila, because when it is poured into the ear, it will not only clear the contents, it also avoids and changes the pH parameters there and avoids the growth of bacteria or anything that. So thereby that whatever the possibility of infection and carrying that, and even the post-infection any sequel is there, that will also be taken care of. And even because it's basically oil, it even makes the Karanaguta, the ear wax, into melt into soft, let it become soft, and then it can be easily removed out from the external auditory meatus. So that will be definitely clearing the things.
And also in cases of sinusitis associated with the eustachian tube infection or blockage, I've seen that this steam therapy with like hot water added with a little bit of eucalyptus oil and camphor is very effective, sir. I mean, it relieves the blockage instantly if it is just a temporary one.
Really, blockage removal can be done, but once whatever the vapors we are giving, when they get condensed, these vapor contains motor molecules, and once again it gives rise to issues. So in those conditions, it is better to take them in a dry format, not in the vapor format. And second thing is, whenever this type of vapor needs to be taken, it is as far as possible should be avoiding the at least contact of moisture in the later part, because once again, once these vapors get cooled down, the eustachian tube or anywhere in the external auditory meatus, definitely that area, once again that moisture will get turned to water, and that water content inside once again causes problem. It is better to avoid those things. Use an oil, particularly the Abhyanga Ksharataila. That's a wonderful oil which clears most of the chronic otitis media or acute otitis media, and even the eustachian tube blocks, or even the Karanaguta, or even when there is unusual sounds or even pain, everything will be suppressed by regularly using Abhyanga Ksharataila. And that is a wonderful drug for these type of diseases.
With your narration, probably rather than steam, probably Dhumapana would also be a better choice, sir, to dry out.
Definitely, Dhumapana would be better only if it is purely of kaphaja nature. Person is having some issues or blockages which is due to some infection or some allergic parameters, then Dhuma can also create once again an allergy or irritation. We need to be very cautious while doing this, Dhumana and these things.
Somebody asked for picture of the ear again. That is normal ear anatomy picture that I quoted. And there was a question which was that in case of like age-related keratosis or age-related thick skin lesions that develop on the neck, on the either side of the nose, on the cheek area, etc. So that will be thick, and only solution that is given is by the dermatologist is to go for the removal of that through radiation therapies, etc. So is there any oil or any sort of powder or any medicine which has that scraping effect which can remove the external dead skin layers?
See, we need to accept certain things. Something which has come to us because of our age, we need to accept it. If you want to clear your skin even at the age of 60s and 70s, that is not the right type of thing. First of all, in those age when it is there and you are trying to put some powder and going on rubbing on it, that rubbing itself may get irritation and may end up in melanoma. So don't do all such type of things. If it is possible, use a Kumari based creams which will reduce the tone of the color of these lesions and gives the sufficient hydration to the skin, which will maintain the hydration of skin, and that is enough. Even tonicity and extensity or the flexibility of the skin or elasticity of the skin is maintained by using this type of creams or something like that. But trying to get rid of the pigmentation, and that may not be possible. And anything which you are doing something in a vigorous manner, if your luck is not favoring you, then you may end up in trouble.
Can Apamarga Ksharataila be used for preventive aspects also, like regular ear drop, maybe 1 or 2 drops a day, maybe?
I don't think so. Regular, the requirement will not be there. Maybe once in a week you can use it.
Is the same oil useful in wax buildup also?
Definitely. It can be used even in, that's what I said, Karna Bhuta, technically what we call in Ayurveda diagnosis, it is called as Karna Bhuta. In those conditions also, earwax, we use this one. And when you use this one, the earwax will get liquefied or become semi-solid, and it can be easily swollen and it can be taken out of the tract.
Some of the ENT, ear, nose, throat specialists are using this olive oil, this medicine called as Solivax or ear drops by New Life Pharmaceuticals. So they gave this, that simple olive oil, and there are some other manufacturers who add some chemicals to it, and the modern medicine manufacturers. So they give the oil, and as usually it's used in children, as to put the oil for 4 to 5 days continuously, so that whatever the little wax is there, it forms a solid mass, and then it is plucked out easily.
Thank God if somebody, an allopathic doctor or if somebody started using an oil to the ear. Otherwise, they'll always pose such a question that why you want to put oil to ears? Your ear is not a machine that you require some lubrication. That's what they used to comment earlier when we suggested using oil in ear Karna Purana procedure. So now they are also realizing the importance of that. That's good. Let them use it. And using an oil, a simple oil, because we used to apply when we were young, our mother used to apply as all coconut oil. We used to put a very coconut oil, few drops to the ear to remove the ear wax. So it's not a big issue that somebody may be using some olive oil, whatever the oil available across to them and which is familiar in those areas, accordingly the geographic locations, the people will use it.
At least now, some Ayurveda education in the public and also in the for other doctors also. Previously, like oil in the ear, it causes a lot of infection. There was a lot of maligning and doubts rise there. So most youth prefer chemical peeling of the skin treatments. What's your view on it, or can we do better in skin problems instead of these modalities? I think Guru has already answered that. Probably taking care of skin by, especially facial skin, by regular facial Abhyanga, maybe with a little bit of Kumkumadi Taila drops, or Nasya, regular Nasya with Anutaila, or sesame oil pulling. All those things will naturally take care of the facial skin rather than chemical peeling, etc., sir?
Definitely. See, observe that when you are young, you always try to feel that and continue to be young, and you have a lot of energy in that period, and you have all sort of experimentation mindset. You want to experiment each and everything, and whatever we have see is very observe the human nature. When we are young, we apply a lot of bleaches to the hair and make the hair white, then apply different color to that those things, and all these things are done. Then same thing which is happens at 35 or 40 where hair becomes gray, then they start worrying. When they are young, they used all these things to do fashion in the name of fashion or something like that. But once it is naturally happening, then they are feeling problem for that. Similarly, from skin color or maintenance of the glowing skin and all those things, first thing you try to understand this, your skin texture and skin is contribution of your parents to you. It is a genetical predisposition. First thing. Second thing is how to maintain its youthfulness or its health as far as possible by maintaining the good protocol. So in that good protocol where adding the damage to skin, it is consuming a very good quantity of sufficient or optimal quantity of water, making a convincing and understanding very clearly that whatever the hydration required for a person, optimal level, then applying oil, regular going for Abhyanga, and repeatedly once in a while going for the Nasya Karma, and sleeping early, getting up early in the morning, and all these things, and of course eating a nutritious food, everything contributes for the skin. Once you are using a lot of electromagnetic gadgets like mobile, laptop, and on such other things, definitely we are surrounded with a lot of other issues, and they may even damage the skin. So, and even the way we seeing all these mobile chats and all those things till late in the night, 1 o'clock, 1:32, then we'll go to sleeping. So this is also going to definitely spoil the skin texture and color. So if it is to be maintained, then we need to at least do all these things in the right kind of things, then definitely it will maintain.
Regarding water, I always get this question like how much water to drink. Fake Ayurveda experts would say 5 cups, and then somebody says 8 cup. Then somebody would go back to the original version, like it's on. It depends from person to person. This like we have answered like 5 to 10 times, like at least blog comments, etc. But it keeps on coming up. So.
See, definitely, we can't tell that how much Vyayama should be done by one person, how much water should be taken from one person. Very clearly, Ayurveda says 1/3 capacity of the stomach should be filled with water. And how much water should take? See, person one who is working in sun, his requirement of water is more. One person who is sitting in AC and doing work, his requirement of water is less. And even season variation will have effect. So many factors are involved. So 365 days, you cannot have a similar type of water consumption. No, it is not possible. So that depends on the season of the year, and even the type of work what we are doing, and even what type of food we are eating. If you are eating comparatively more spicy and something dry type of things, then at the time of digestion, your body may demand more water. Then you require a lot of thirsty, and then you'll go for drinking water. So like that, there are plenty of issues are there. We cannot simply say that this much 5 cups or 5 liters, 2 liters. No, there is no such hard and fast rule. It is individualized and customized to one person. So it may be sufficient. That other way of round is that you just check it up. Generally, if you need to check your urination. If you are urinating 6 times per 24 hours, then you are somewhere near to optimal level of consumption of water, and you are taking sufficient liquids in the diet. So that is one of the indicator how much it is there. If it is from 6 to 8, then sufficiently good. And beyond 8, then we need to check for other diseases.
I remember a case when a lady was there and she was told that drinking heavy amounts of water is good even for healthy people. And she started drinking heavy and suddenly started using washrooms more. And suddenly she started having fear of like diabetes, like I might be having polyuria and all. And going by the thirst signal is safe because we should not be suppressed, it is told. So probably thirst is a good indicator also, sir.
So definitely, when see that's the only thing. When you are feeling hungry, you eat. When you are feeling thirsty, you drink. That is a basic line, and that much only. Then how much we need to do? We need to do it for till our satisfaction. And individual level of satisfaction varies from person to person. You cannot have a common like 2 liters is sufficient or 3 liters sufficient. No, such type of things are foolish. It is not possible.
People who are not related to Ayurveda or they were not following any healthy lifestyle, and they want to come to the fold of Ayurveda or include a little bit of Ayurveda principles in their lifestyle. So my first counseling point is regarding watch your thirst, watch your hunger, and eat or drink based on that. So this gives kind of a makes them self-aware and makes them to watch their bodies, and once they become watchful of their body signals, etc., they also start naturally become self-conscious regarding health, and they start eating healthy and all. So eat and drink only when you're hungry and thirsty is so very basic for Ayurveda.
Very clearly, very long back, people have said Hita book, Mita book, Kshita book, so Aruk. A very clear statement. Hita book. Eat only those things which are conducive to body. Hita book. Then he said Kshuta book. Eat only when you are feeling hungry. Kshuta book. Mita book. It should be in limited fashion. If it is limited according to the need or requirement, so Aruk, then he will be having Arogya or health. That's what even the Acharyas have very clearly said.
Thank you, Desa. And moving on to the question of Abhyanga during evening hours. Is it okay to perform Abhyanga in the evening and not in the morning? And if done in the evening, what are the things to consider? Is Swedana a must? If Abhyanga is done at night, because due to the cold nature of evening and night, the oil may not go deep into the skin and muscles, or Abhyanga done in a cold evening, can it lead to stiffness? What are the points to consider here, sir?
See, very typically, we need to understand Abhyanga should be done in morning. There is no hard and fast rule that it should be done only in the morning. If you do it in the evening also, no issues, you can do it. But thing is, to make oil little bit warmer, then apply to the body. See, whenever oil is applied to the body, we need to have, it should be in a warm condition. That is the reason. If we cannot apply the cold oil to the body, it's always when Abhyanga is done, it will be having a supportive or something which is a favorable temperature in that. That is one thing. Then whenever you do Abhyanga, followed by it is always either Snana or Svedana and Snana. It is a must. Because once you do Abhyanga, the excess oil present in the skin needs to be removed. And to remove that one, you need to go for Svedana first, or you can directly go with the warm water bath. That will definitely remove the vata, and for what purpose you are trying to do Abhyanga, that will fulfill. And just simply you are doing Abhyanga in the night and you are not taking any bath or anything like that, then leaving oil on the body, then definitely instead of supporting your condition of vata, it may worsen the condition. So whenever Abhyanga is done, it is better to follow that Abhyanga to be followed by a warm water bath. But care should be taken that warm water should not be put to head. Head should be very, very lukewarm water we should use to head. Otherwise, it is going to cause problem.
Is another very famous massage oil called as Bala Ashwagandha Taila. It's also called as Ashwagandha Bala Lakshadi Taila, etc. So could you please tell about the use of Bala Ashwagandha Taila in females doing gym workout, targeting weight gain, or what medicines are suited for women going to gym for gaining weight? So first let's understand the Bala Ashwagandha Tailam. Just pulled out the shloka there. So it starts with Bala Ashwagandha Laksha, and its kashaya is made, then Rasna, Chandana, Manjista, Durva, etc. are there. One interesting thing that I observed was that Chaste Titi Nakshatre Tailametattu Shile means it should be done in a very auspicious day, considering the star constellation day. So only good day is to be selected. And last line says that Ashubhyam Nirmitam Tailam Etat Pushtikaram. So this Taila's formulation is done by none other than the Ashwini Kumaras, the celestial daughters of the divine world. And it is told that Nashanti Vivida Sheva Vata Roga. So it is told for Vata Roga. So because the question is on the, can it be used on women? Apart from the classical Vata herbs like Rasna, Ashwagandha, Laksha, and Bala, etc. So it also contains Chandana, Manjista, Durva, Madhukar, Yasti Madhu. So it also is sort of good for skin also.
See, definitely, simply oil applying to the skin itself is tvachya, what we call it in Sanskrit. It is good for the skins. The thing is, if the target is to gain weight, then select a better oil. Why you want to go for a Balashwagandha Taila? You can go for Mahamasha Taila. You can go for Mahamasha Taila, which will definitely enhance the plumpiness. And second thing, when you are going for gym and workout, and you are in gym, you are trying to work out, and it will only improve your body shape. In order to improve your body bulk, you need to work out in such a manner, and it will improve your Agni, and thereby you consume a comparatively good quality protein and aharas and calories that will take up the shape and will give you the tonicity and improve the body weight. And for that, we can go for Shatavari Guda or even Shatavari Lehya. So such type of things will definitely help for a woman to increase her body weight, her body bulk in those who are lean and thin. And for after the gym workout, it is better to apply oil before the gym workout. Then we go for a little bit of gym, because that gym working will definitely dilates the vessels and helps to oil to penetrate deep. And of course, after these oil application, go for a warm bath, then consume these foods. It will improve your Agni, and after the Agni is improved, then use that particular type of proteins, or maybe even Masha material, even maybe it containing any other proteins like milk, that also can help you. And depending on the other condition, even if you are able to could eat the chicken, mamsa, that is also very good. And then mamsam mamsena vardayet, very clearly said, definitely the bulk of the things will increase. And those who are vegetarian, then for them, total vegan, it is particularly masha and dairy or something like that. With the masha prepared material, if you consume, then slowly the bulkness of the body will increase.
Can we use Masha Taila for regular Abhyanga in babies or toddlers? Sir?
See, definitely it can be used if the baby is malnourished and baby is preterm baby or something like that. In those conditions, it is better. Otherwise, for a regular healthy baby, in order to maintain the bone health and the tonicity of the muscle and all those things, and for better growth, it is better Balashwagandha Taila.
Balashwagandha Taila, especially for the muscles, the bones, it's very useful. What about head oil scalp application in the night? What are the things to consider? This was in relation to the massage, full body massage at night or evening. So night, if the patient is having the sinusitis or allergic rhinitis or one of the other respiratory issues, then there is this kapha threat. Also, whether we are using the sesame oil based oils or coconut oil based oil, that also varies. So.
Peculiarly, any oil Abhyanga done to the head, it is preferably, it is better if it is done during daytime, because once you apply oil to the head and you take bath, and the next part of the day will be having more sun. So don't take an oil head boil or something like that, head massage or something like the oil during evening hours or late night. Next hours of the night will be much more colder, which will be against the condition, the intention of why we are used oil. Because if it is increases the coldness, definitely it will improve further vata, and you may have all sort of problems with the shita guna, which enhances the vata as well as kapha. Then those two doshas combined together can cause disease condition. So it is better to use the oil to the head, preferably in day, early morning. Then later hours of the day will be having more sun, and that is a more favorable condition to apply oil to the head.